Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hello, girl. I'm on live. Come on and join me. I said in my last post that I was going to come on live this afternoon. This is my first live in the series of the post. I'm also live on Instagram, so bear with me that I'm looking both ways. So I want you to join me this afternoon. Let's have a discussion about us being teenagers. Let's have a discussion. Who is joining me today? Who is joining me today? You are a girl. You are a girl young and free, a girl innocent and sweet, a girl filled with so much hopes and dreams, a girl born for a purpose, a girl packaged with so much potential, a girl born to rock a world. That's who you are. And I want us to have a discussion around the slides that I put out on Instagram and on my Facebook page on 8 reasons why your teenage years are important. So now you are a teenager. Do you ever wonder, what being a teenager is to you? Or let me put it this way, you know, what does being a teenager mean to you? How do you feel like being a teenager? What are the changes you are experiencing? What is happening to you? Because uh, in the videos that I have brought out recently, what I'm trying to do is trying to help you to become more self-aware of the transition that you're going through. I said that your teenage years is a time when you're changing from a child to an adult. It's a period of transition. And I know for many of us as teenagers, this season of our life is very challenging. This season of our life is very is very confusing also. I hear somebody describe it as, oh, I'm not a child, and also I am not an adult. And then there is a confusion because you feel like one minute you're being dragged to behave like you are an adult, and the next minute you are reminded that you are still a child. And then you're kind of like, okay, where do I really fit in? Am I a child? Am I an adult? Oh, stop talking to me like I'm a child. Oh no, I'm no more a child. I'm an adult now. So you're dragged between these two worlds where you don't really know, which way or where you belong. You don't know if you're a child yet or you're an adult. But the teenage years is a time of transition. So do you ever find yourself, being confused and being how do you feel like being a teenager? What are your experiences? Because of the information and the two videos I brought out, I wanted to, kind of have this interaction to know that you are coming along with me on this journey, because I'm taking you on a journey on this series of the importance of your teenage years, because I want you to realize that even though you find it challenging and even though it might be confusing sometimes, but it is a very critical stage of your life. And I want you to be self aware, first of all, understand the things that are happening in your body. I just want to be more conscious of this stage. I don't want you to flow through this stage like you're sleepy. I want you to go through this stage of your life, consciously. Hey, dear. How are you? Thank you for joining. Yeah, having this discussion of regarding the importance of our teenage years. So glad to have you. So yes, so I did say in my first slide that it's a phase of transition. You're growing, you are suddenly changing from a child to an adult. It's a season of growth, it's a season of change. Because when, as young people, or let me say as children, we were not very conscious of the world that we were in. We're just more conscious of our parents, of our families, of our immediate needs. Oh, I'm hungry. Oh, mom, I want to sleep, or I want this toy, or I want that. Those are the things we're more conscious of. But thank God we don't get to be babies forever, and so we grow. So change, growth is a part of change, and change is a part of life. So we keep changing even as we're growing. We keep changing and we keep developing. And so as you're growing older, you begin to see your world getting more wider. You see more. So instead of just being within your family and your friends, and your parents at home, as you're going into school and getting into bigger school, you're beginning to see that some of the things that you expect your parents to do for you, you are now told to do them yourself. For example, you suddenly can, wake up in the morning and go take a bath by yourself and go make your bed and probably even make your breakfast or make lunch for yourself when you're hungry. So you get to do some of the things that you couldn't do when you were a child. And the interesting thing about coming into the teenage age is, as you are doing this transition and coming into the stage of independence, you begin to feel like you're grown up. And you hear aunties and probably uncles that say, "Oh, look at you, she's so big now. You're a big girl. You're growing." And it's interesting to hear, but these are just early days. You still have a lot of growing up to do, really. You still have a lot of growing up to do. And so recognizing that you're going through a season of change, a season of growth is important. And I wanted to have this discussion with you and just get to hear your experiences, and possibly find out if you have any questions, or if there are things that you know that you're confused about that you wanted to ask. It would be good to hear from you. So if you are not on this live stream right now, probably if you watch this later and you want to ask some questions, or there are things that you need to comment about, you can leave them in the comment section, and I'll be glad to hear from you. I'll be glad to know what you're thinking, because I will still be sharing more points on the importance of your teenage age. It is important for me, to get you to understand this phase of your life, because I see your teenage years as the foundation of your growing up into an adult. I see this phase of your life, and everything you do on this at this phase of your life as a teenager lays the foundation for your adulthood. And that is why for me it is important. Oh, yes, it is important because, yeah, once upon a time I was a teenager, and I had my own experiences. I knew, I was so conscious of this change of growing up, and I want you to be aware of this change also. It's so important. The other, I think, the second information on the video that I did on the second point why your teenage years are very important. I said it's a time when your brain is making the most connection. And I think I gave an analysis of the transition period. So you are suddenly you find yourself, you are now 9, then 10, then 11, and by the time you are 11, you are so excited because you're leaving primary school, you'll be going to a big school, and you sometimes, for a lot of us, um, a lot of us girls, we get a bit of independence. I see some of us were able to go to school by ourselves. We're able to just go out to our friends' places. And then just when you are thinking about going to big school, you are suddenly reminded of your physiological changes. And I think for a lot of schools, especially if you are in the West, they have the puberty classes for you. So they let you know and kind of prepare you to be ready for the changes that are going to happen in your body. I don't know about other countries in the world, but I know back then growing up, I didn't have a lot of that preparation. I wasn't told, I wasn't made to be prepared. I wasn't prepared for the changes that will come as a girl. I wasn't prepared for it. I didn't know that I was going to go through some changes. So I was quite unprepared when I entered puberty and I started having menstruation. I was quite unprepared, but I'm glad that here in the West, a lot of children are prepared for puberty. So because I know that you have the puberty classes where the nurses will come into school and they tell you, about your breast developing, and they also talk to you about when your menstruation starts. They tell you about the differences between a boy and a girl and all of the changes that would normally happen. And these are normal uh, stages of life, and these are normal things that we experience in life, and they should be talked about. We shouldn't shy away from having these conversations and having these discussions to prepare our girls, for the changes that they will go through. That is what makes us human, and I believe that whatever makes us human we should be free to discuss the things that make us human. We should be free to have conversations around everything that makes us human. There is no need to be shy. And as the founder of the Marvelous Guest Club, which is the club I run in the community, one thing we have also tried to do is to let guests know that yes, this stage of your life is normal, and as girls, it's also important that you are prepared for it. So we'll ask young girls, especially if you are 10, 11, and you have not started your menstruation yet, that you should have a menstruation emergency kit in your bag. Because when your menstrual period starts, sometimes you are usually not, it doesn't give you any notice. So you are usually caught unawares. But when you have a menstruation emergency kit, you have this pencil, like a pencil case purse, where you have a little pads, and some change of panties and everything in that. It helps you, it prepares you. So you keep that in your backpack, in your school bag that you take to school all the time. So when menstruation happens, whatever time it happens or whatever day it happens, you know that you are not caught unawares, you're ready and you can use that. So all of these preparation is needed, and there are things that we should talk about even as girls. We should not be ashamed to talk about our periods. We should not be. It's not something that we should shy away from. It's not something that we should hide, because, like I said, every everything that makes us human, we should be free to talk about them, because that is what makes us who we are, and we shouldn't be ashamed of what makes us who we are. So we should be free to talk about our menstruation, and don't keep. I see a lot of young girls even here still keep it from their mom. When you have your first menstrual flow, don't hide it. There is nothing wrong. There's nothing to be kept secret about having your menses. So have this discussion with your mom. Let mom know that, hey mom, I think I have a flow of blood, so that mom is aware. Mom can get you all the things that you need, to go through your menstruation period. So, you know, s- growing up, you're going through that change, and then you're also going through the change of leaving primary school and then going into secondary school, and trying to cope with new friends, new teachers, a new environment. All of this can be quite overwhelming, for young girls. Can be quite overwhelming. But yeah, school could be boring for a lot of us, because suddenly we discover that our workload increases when we are in big school. There's so much to do. You're going from one class to the other. There's a lot of homework. So sometimes school is not fun as we want, because I know when we're in primary school we had a lot of playtime, but in secondary school we don't do as much play as we used to do when we were in primary school. So what are your experiences of school? I still remember my experiences of school, and I know that in primary school all I could remember was all the play time that we had, just playing. Those are the memories of my primary school. But being in secondary school, of course, it had this challenging side, but my secondary school years were one of my best. And secondary school years, of course, for a lot of us, is where we hold the most memories, and that is when we have our life as teenagers. Because by the time you are now 13, you are now much more aware, of your world. You are much more aware of everything around you. So What is your experience like? What kind of school are you attending? Are you finding school fun? Are you finding school tough? Is it challenging for you? Yeah, share your experience and let's see what it is like for you being in big school. So that is a period of change for you. It's a transition of change. Your teenage years is a transition stage. It's a phase where you are changing from a child to an adult. You are gradually going on the journey to adulthood. It's a journey. You are not an adult yet, you're still growing. There's still a lot of growing up for you to do, but you are gradually going on the journey to adulthood. And the second point I mentioned was that your teenage years is a time when your brain is making the most connections. It's a time when your brain is making the most connections. So even though physically things around you is changing, you have left primary school, you are in secondary school, you're you are no more running around like you used to do when you were just a little girl. Now you are more aware of yourself because you are now your breasts have developed, you have your menstrual period, you are more self-aware. And of course, for a lot of us, the beginning of menstruation makes us really self-conscious, especially when you have boys around you. You become really self-conscious, you're more conscious of the way you dress, trying to, although some of us can still be very carefree anyway, especially if you have your menstruation starting as early as 9. But for a lot of us, we become more self-conscious, we're careful about the way we look, the way we dress, and all of that. But this phase also is the time when your brain is making the most connections. So your teenage years is a season where your brain is growing so rapidly, the cells are multiplying, really fast. And all of these vital connections that are happening in the brain is all to aid your growth and development so that you become a well-formed adult, you become a well-developed adult. So these changes that are happening in your body, they are all being facilitated by the development of the brain. I'm not going to go into all of the medical jargons that I used to describe this growth, but your teenage years is a season where your brain is making the most connection. And this connection that is going on in your brain is also one of the reasons why you have mood swings because your brain is growing so rapidly. Sometimes you have mood swings. Sometimes you are worried, you are confused. One minute you're happy, you're sad, you play. Especially when it's approaching your menstrual period, sometimes you find yourself like, oh, you are feeling so low, you're feeling sad, you don't even understand why you're sad. And sometimes mom is worried, like, what is wrong with you? Are you okay? And you get frustrated because mom is like always asking you, are you okay? Are you all right? Is everything fine with you? And that kind of sets you up, makes you upset, like, mom, why are you asking? I'm fine, nothing is wrong with me. But you are saying that, but you are not even sure what is wrong with you because all of these hormones that are released, all of the connections that are happening in your brain cells are trying to make the necessary connections that are, needed to make you into a well-formed adult. And this rapid development of the brain, you know, is is a crisis for a lot of us because it causes a lot of mood swings. So several times during the day, you just see your moods changing. You're happy, you see your friend one minute you're happy, the next minute you're sad. I remember myself as a young teenager, sometimes I'm just so frustrated and I just cry. I'm just crying and like my mom would say, why are you crying? I say, I don't know. And sometimes crying helps because it's like there's just a wave of pent up emotions inside of you that you need to release, and the only way they can come out is normally through your tears. So you are happy one minute, you're crying, you're upset. There are times when you just cry. So for a lot of us, we get confused, we're worried, like, what is wrong with me? Why am I feeling like this? But you don't need to label yourself, you don't need to give yourself any name because it's a season of change, it's a transition, and all of these will pass, because the rapid growth of your brain is causing, you know, the way it's causing you to feel the way you're feeling. It doesn't mean that anything is wrong with you, and it doesn't mean that you should give yourself any name. So your teenage years are crucial because of these changes. They are a season of rapid growth. The growth may be confusing, they may be challenging, but they are necessary. They are necessary for you to grow up to become a well-developed adult. Yeah, and I wanted to just, come and touch because I'll be bringing out some other videos, on the 8 reasons why your teenage years are important. And maybe you're asking yourself, why is this so important? What is so special about me being a teenager? Why should anybody care about me being a teenager? Maybe for you, you're like, I don't know, being a teenager is, maybe it sucks for you because you're being given a lot more responsibility than you will normally have when you were much younger, because now mom will tell you, oh, you can do this, you go and do that. And it's probably that's making it really hard for you. But yeah, it's a season of growth, it's a season of change. And um as you're going through these stages, what I'm trying to do here is making you aware of these changes so that you don't think that something is wrong with you. When you're feeling low, you don't think that you're depressed. No, it's just a wave of hormones of a wave of hormones or moods that will just go past. It will naturally go past. There's nothing wrong with you. Your brain is making so many vital connections, and this growth is necessary. These connections, this rapid development of your brain is necessary. And sometimes, in some of us girls, we notice that there might be problems. If the brain is not making these vital connections, and there are problems, and some of us we need to go and see the doctor. Maybe your breast is not developing, at the time it's supposed to develop, or maybe your menstruation has not started. And then, the doctors will have to get involved to see what is it, what is missing, what is happening that is not making you to develop, the way you're supposed to develop. So don't feel that, whatever is happening to you as a young teenager growing up is strange, and don't think that it's enough for you to give yourself any label. When you're feeling down, know that it is normal for you to feel down sometimes. It is normal for you to just cry for no reason. You are okay. There's nothing wrong with you if you feel like crying. Yeah, but it's a phase that will pass. So I'm not going to stay long on this video because I see that I don't have too many people. Probably I didn't I didn't advertise this enough. But yeah, I'm going to come and do some other videos on and talk more on the reasons why your teenage years are important. Like I said, I need for us to be self-aware of this important and critical stage of our life, because I see this stage of our life as the foundation for everything we get to be as adults. And I want you to go with me on this journey as we begin to look at all of this emotional roller coaster that we have to deal with as teenagers, all of the issues or self-esteem issues. Of course, when for a lot of us, our self-confidence becomes a big issue when we start getting into this teenage age where all of these changes are happening. We become, our self-confidence get really dent. I remember for me, my self-confidence was really, because for me, I struggled coming to terms with just having my menstruation. It was such a challenge, and that affected my ability to um, participate in sport. I didn't want to go away from home. So when we have competitions where we have to leave our community and go to camp, because I didn't like, I wasn't comfortable, having to change my parts or what I wasn't, I didn't, I didn't enjoy it. So that kind of affected me. But yeah, of course, back then, our resources were quite scarce. But for you, you have a lot of support. You have everything to make your life even more comfortable. So as much as possible, you going through this period of growth, you will just notice that we are all different. So trying to be like somebody else shouldn't come in, because we're all going to go through this experience differently. So some of us we begin changes in our developmental growth will be different. So some will begin early and some will begin late. And that just shows us that we are different. But for some of us, we'll have the challenge of it will be challenged. For example, as a young teenager, you suddenly notice that your breast is developing, but you're suddenly developing really big boobs, big boobs, and your friends, their boobs are not that big. So you will notice all of these differences. And for some of us, we begin to battle with self-confidence. It's like we're not so sure of ourselves. We are becoming more self-conscious. I don't know if you have gone bra shopping. I know for a lot of young people, bra shopping experience. So for some it's exciting, but for some it's embarrassing because it's like, oh mom, do I really need to wear this? And mom is saying, no, I think you need to get some bra now. So these are all of the things that we need to contend with. So embrace this phase of your life, embrace these changes that are happening to you. Be comfortable talking about them because, like I said, everything that makes us who we are, we shouldn't be ashamed to talk about them. We shouldn't shy away from talking about them because these are the things that make us girls. These are the things that make us special. And hey, girl, I'm rooting for you. And I want you to stay with me, come with me, and I'll be sharing a lot more to help you understand yourself, to build your self confidence, to develop your esteem, to become a more focused, a more focused teen and a more successful teenager. So I'm not seeing any comments, so I'll leave you for now to enjoy the rest of the evening. And I'll see you next week, Saturday. Next week, Saturday is my book launch. If you are on Facebook, you probably see the book launch banner. I'm having my virtual book launch on the 3rd of October at about this time also at 3 p.m. So I'm the author of the book, Hey Girl, Amazing Secrets to Making the Most of Your Teenage Years. So you join me on YouTube, the Marvelous Guest Club on Facebook on this page, which is Grace Anigoro, and on Instagram, the Marvelous Guest Club will be on the Marvelous Guest Club on Instagram. So, book launch time, we're going to have competitions and we're going to have some free book giveaways. So, come join and participate in the book launch. If you have not ordered the book yet, the book is on Amazon. Hey Girl is on Amazon. It's on Lulu Books. It's on Okada Books. So, you can get the copy, either ebook or the paperback. They are all available to order now. And if you are in the UK and you are around my community also, if you want to pre-order the books or make donations for the book to reach other girls that will benefit from it, please do leave me a message in the comment section or inbox me and I'll give you details of how you can do that. So thank you for staying with me this afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your evening and have a lovely week ahead. Bye for now. Girl, I believe in you. Blessings. Bye. Yeah.